and I'm joined today with my dear friend Barbara Lagoni, who has her nutrition degree from Cornell University in New York, and like myself, is a mother and a grandmother, and we're still very deeply concerned about our children's health, especially with what we've experienced this past year with COVID. There's been even a more dedication, concentration, interest around health. We'll also be joined by some delightful moms, Karen Beckley and Mackenzie Haight. And they have chosen a holistic, organic approach to some health challenges that they've had with their children. And the results have been just truly amazing. So, thank you for being on as well. We're really honored. So, our keynote speaker tonight, some of you who live in Southwest Florida will recognize our guest speaker today or tonight. It's Dr. Nicole Bruno, and she's a well known and sought after pediatrician. She appears regularly on Wink News, which has affiliates on NBC and CBS, and they pick her because of her nutrition and her timely talks that she does regularly on these stations. So let me tell you a little bit about her because I was fascinated by her background. Dr. Nicole is a wife. She's a mother of two boys, originally from New York, and now resides in Estero, Florida, which is the town that I'm from. She's part of a practice with five other male doctors, and she's been a pediatrician for 12 years. What's interesting about Dr. Nicole is that she started her medical career as a nurse and was a practicing nurse for 10 years
Hmm.
before even becoming a doctor. And when I asked her why she went from being a nurse to going back to medical school and residency and everything else, she said she wanted to know more of the answers. More of the answers. She feels her clinical experience as a nurse with patients has helped her to have even a more connective, communicative relationship with her patients. However, she's a very modern woman. She got married, entered medical school all in the same year, and had her children while she was earning her degree and residency because for her, family is first. So you'll see later on in this talk, she's very unique. And when I asked her what her why was, why she became a pediatrician, I hope you don't mind, but she got very emotional. And she said, I just wanted to find different ways to help children and their families. It's really an honor for us, Dr. Nicole, to have you lead this discussion tonight. Thank you for being here and thank you for who you are. So let us
Absolutely.
go. Barb, anything you would like to say before we start?
No, I just want her to share her vision of what medical practice could be for everyone. So thanks, Nicole. We're so glad that you've joined us.
Thank you. I don't know why that makes me tear up still. There's no big mystery. I just want to help people and do the best I can. So my passion, let's start there. I can talk about that with addiction.
Mm,
My goal is to prevent and treat childhood obesity. I want to figure out the best way to do that. And it starts at birth. Feed your kid good stuff and we'll be okay. The hard part is once they get picky, we have a battle. And I walk parents through this every day.
mm,
Children need healthy food, they need exercise, they need to sleep, and they need a community, which we're working on with COVID, trying to get back to that. Um, but healthy foods are our biggest challenge, and nutrition is so important. It's the baseline of our immune system and our gut health, and that controls our weight, our health, our ability to fight off disease. So COVID, COVID happened. How did I find Sue's? How did Sue's find me? Jeannie already told you that I'm on Wink News, and so Jeannie, Sue's found me there, she reached out to me and said, I think we need to be friends. I like the things you say, and you have a great vision. And what can we do together? And so we worked together on a few small projects. An adolescent group was fantastic, but that was the week before COVID, and then we were shut down. And a few during COVID, the only treatments we've had is prevention, and that is your vitamins. It's your vitamin C, your zinc, your elderberry, your nutrients, your fruits and vegetables. But we were all living in the 1 year long hurricane, right? We
Mm,
were all eating comfort food.
mm,
So not only, I gained my COVID-15, and so did the kids. And COVID-15 is
mm,
very, very detrimental to them.
mm,
So high stress job, high exposure to germs. How can I fill the gap in my diet? Um, we're all, who wants to go to the food store? We're eating all the leftovers. We're making that and then making pot pie out of it and then some soup, and so you're just eating everything you have, because who can go to the store? Who's getting fresh fruits and vegetables? I've tried different things in the past, looking for the right fit for me. And Sue's reached out and said, hey, do you want to take a meology quiz and find out what vitamins might work for you?
mm,
And I was like, Suze, that's a great idea. Let me see what your products are about. And when we had met last, she had brought some supplements and some of the bars, but I really didn't know all the background about the company. So I learned more, and I took my quiz. I got my answers, and they said they needed pretty much everything I wanted, and they had some great products to do that. In addition, I needed to lose that COVID-15, and I have more to lose. I've been on a weight loss journey for, well, my whole life probably, but medical school and kids was not helpful to my body. I gained 70 pounds with that pregnancy, but I was
oh,
working 36-hour shifts,
mm,
pregnant. So
mm,
I was eating a bagel whatever time I wanted to, because
mm,
I was still awake and I wasn't
mm,
vomiting. So
mm,
I was eating a bagel. That's it.
mm,
But anyway, I've been fighting this fight, and looking for good products to do that. And Sue's introduced me to Shackley. And then I learned all about Dr. Shackley and his vision um, to really make a difference and to do it naturally with food and natural products, which we'll go more into that. The other, there it is, making healthy happen, is a choice you can make today, and it's not difficult. It isn't some goal in the distance. It's a decision you make with every choice you make. The next meal, I tell people, you have pizza for dinner and then you give up the week. No, you start at breakfast
mm.
tomorrow. You start over tomorrow. Pizza for dinner doesn't destroy you. Your next choice can. So make a good
Oh,
next.
excellent, excellent.
Terrific.
So,
And you lost some weight on the program too, didn't you,
I
Dr.
did.
Nicole?
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the cleanse was the other thing that really I was looking for a good cleanse, and I did that, and that with the Prove It Challenge is how I joined the Meology Prove It Challenge. By 6 weeks through, I did lose that COVID-15, about 12 inches altogether, and it's been fantastic.
True.
So yeah, the Shackley
Terrific.
difference. So this is all the Shackley stuff, the Shackley information that was so
Yes.
impressive to me. Um, wi-
well,
uh,
and I just pulled a few things here that we like people to know that the we Shackley doesn't test on animals. They were the first company ever certified to be climate neutral, which we're hearing about now, but that was 20 years ago that they were pioneers, and they have been before. They were the first company to make a biodegradable cleaning product, Basic Age. Um, they they launched something they called the Million Tree Campaign because trees are the lungs of the planet, and they make a big difference in reducing the carbon dioxide levels. Um, so there are so many things. I guess for me, the U.S. Pharmacopoeia recommends that companies test for 80 contaminants. Shackley tests for over 300. Things like that. It's just good for people to know because we as consumers can't possibly know those things, but you as a doctor, that would probably be very impressive over the 100,000 quality control tests. I didn't know if that was a lot or a little until I found out when Roger Barnett bought the company. Here's a man who had a lot of experience in manufacturing and business. He had his staff count every one of the quality control tests to make sure that that was an accurate number, and it turned out it was higher than what they actually had thought. So just wonderful background in science research. And then I guess, Nicole, you did come to learn about this landmark study, which was
Mhm.
remarkable.
Yes, actually, Sue sent this to me right away. She's like, "You want the information? You're going to love this." But the first thing she said to me that we didn't say, but was written there, was that Shackley actually invented the vitamin.
Mhm.
Mm,
I'm not sure I needed to hear anything else other than I was dealing with a company that invented the actual vitamin
mm,
and quality products. And then they proved the quality. So this landmark health study um, just shows these sick benefits. You know, it's just an easy way to break down 17,000 pages of research and data that the nutrients, the higher level of key nutrients um, in the people that were in the study. So they did levels on the people and they retained the higher levels of the key nutrients, the healthier key biomarkers. So they're biomarkers that tell us pretty much how healthy we are when we measure them in our blood, and they were significantly higher in everyone that was using our products. The C-reactive proteins is actually a marker of inflammation. Those were significantly improved.
mhm,
The cardiovascular health, 33% lower level of triglycerides. This leads to LDL and blockage of the arteries and heart attacks. So that's magic right there.
mhm.
Lower blood sugar levels, hemoglobin A1C. I have 16-year-olds with type 2 diabetes now. This is why
Oh,
I'm angry. This is why
mm,
I'm working with it.
mm, mm.
But
So
Mhm.
good.
yeah,
Thank you. So it is impressive. So would you tell us about the vitamin regimens that you have at your house with your kids and for yourself?
yeah. So immediately, we were trying. We prior to me finding Shackley, I was just picking things off the shelf, trying to find clean options, and I immediately, as soon as we saw you had kid options, I was so excited. So we switched straight over to the Incredivites, which has the C, D3, zinc complex, but that has it's a multivitamin for kids. It has all of the supplements to fill in the gaps. And then the super immunity gives them extra C, D3, and zinc. And then we do an additional chewable vitamin C. So,
Yeah.
and my kids are old enough, they're 11 and 15, they can swallow pills, but the chewable vitamin C actually tastes really good. They don't want me to switch to the ones you can swallow. And then the basic program, sorry, was the one, I did my meology quiz, and this is what I was assigned, with what they gave me based on my answers, which did fit exactly what my goals were. And I started on the Life Shakes the Prove It Challenge, the Optiflora probiotic, the B complex for my energy level, which is fantastic. So important for adrenal health and recovering from stress. And then extra immune support just to fill in. Again, I am not leaving any hole. I wear a plastic bag in rooms with patients. I have
Mm,
goggles and a shield, and
mm,
children cough and sneeze on me all day.
mm,
And there's COVID, right? There's the flu. I
mm.
didn't
Oh,
wear
and
a
then
mask before
COVID,
with the
right?
flu, but there's COVID, and I've had two
Mm,
vaccines now. I'm
mm,
covered,
mm,
but there's no reason to take any risks whatsoever.
mm,
So the health issues I see in my practice, there's a ridiculous stomach bug going on right now currently. So kids vomiting, diarrhea. I am probiotics. Everyone take your probiotics. But
mm,
our allergies are so crazy right now. So if you're in a northern state, you're locked indoors, you have your dust allergies going crazy. And if you're here, there's a lot of pollen coating everything. So
mm,
Florida is not really meant for humans. It's just high levels of mold and pollen, and allergies are crazy. Asthma is triggered by those allergies. Asthma is also triggered by most viruses and most illnesses. So you really have to protect them from everything. And then COVID, it's a hot mess of everything. It looks like everything else. And then there's the fun fact that adults who can make decisions for themselves and cook their own food and go to the food store, only 10 to 20% of them reach their US nutritional goals with
mm,
food, the
mm,
actual food we intake, 10 to
mm,
20%.
mm,
So, how do we think these kids are doing?
mm.
These picky 2-year-olds that we love, that we,
Not
we
good.
can't get them to eat the fruits and vegetables. So let's hear from some moms who actually conquered this with some diet and supplementation.
Excellent. Let's
Thank you,
start.
Dr. Bruno.
Mhm. Okay, we'll start with Mackenzie. Mackenzie
Mhm.
Haight. Hi, Mackenzie.
Hi. So my name's Mackenzie Height. I'm married to my husband Josh, and we have two boys, Titus, who is 4, and Roman, who's almost 2. So yeah, I'm just going to share a little bit about my son Ty's allergy transformation. So I've been using Shackley products for about 6 years, but it wasn't until after I had my son, Ty, that I started using and taking more of the vitamins and the shakes and just caring more about our family's health. So when Ty was 8 months old, we discovered that he was allergic to peanuts. And it wasn't until he was a year old that we confirmed with an allergist that he was not only allergic to peanuts, but also tree nuts and eggs. And so, as a mom, and especially as a first time mom, I was devastated. For one, I love peanut butter. So, how could my son be allergic?
Mm.
But also, it just made me fearful, like whenever he would eat. And it was that constant fear of accidentally giving him something that would cause a reaction. Not only that, but everywhere we went, we had to make sure he carried an EpiPen. So it
Mm.
was just a lot to think about.
Mm.
And I didn't want him to have to live with these allergies. I think all moms don't want to see our kids dealing with health issues or concerns. And so I just wanted to fix it. So I Googled and I researched peanut and nut allergies and what would help. And I found myself just getting discouraged, just hearing that most peanut allergies don't phase out with age. And so that's when I turned more to Shackley and what else I could be giving him. So he was already taking the Incredivites, which as a 1 year old he loved. I mean, I would just like have to shake the bottle and he would just run like a cat to me because he just loved taking his vitamins. So I also would give him the Mighty Smarts, the chewable omega, and a probiotic, but I just knew he needed more. And so I knew about the importance of increasing your immune system and how that can help with allergies. My husband and I both had seasonal allergies, but when we started taking Nutriferon, it was a game changer. And I learned about Nutriferon, the amazing benefits it has just to increasing that interferon in your body, which helps with allergies too. And I trust Shackley, and I knew it wouldn't hurt to give it a try for my son. So I started adding that to his regimen and increasing his vitamin C. And I also added alfalfa too. And then we just needed to wait a year until we wanted to retest him again for these allergies. But of course, life gets busy, and then we had another baby, so it wasn't. It was pushed aside. So it wasn't until he was 3.5 that we got him retested, but he was taking these vitamins every single day. So when he was retested at 3.5, I was just blown away by his results. His numbers had gone down on the level of how allergic his body was, and our allergist recommended that we do an oral challenge for cashews and then for peanuts. And so he passed his cashew test, and then 2 weeks later, we did the peanut test, and he passed that too.
Oh,
Um,
Fantastic.
so
great.
Great.
just to get that like confirmation that your child no longer needs an EpiPen
Mm.
everywhere he goes, he can freely eat and enjoy peanuts and tree nuts,
Mm.
just an amazing feeling. And I truly do believe, like, for one, the Lord healed him from this, but also that Shackley aided in increasing his immune system. And the great thing too is like while he was on this whole regimen, he never got sick. I would always hear, from friends say like my kids get sick during the winter or whatever this time, and like my kids have never gotten sick. We don't go to the doctor unless it's for a checkup. So I just know it's these incredible vitamins that they're taking,
Mm.
especially those immune boosting supplements. So
Well,
both now
great
both my
story.
boys.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah. So what's listed there? Both my boys take that now, and so they're as healthy as can be. And yeah, my husband and I are just super thankful for Shackley and what it's doing for our family.
oh, thank you, Mackenzie. Great. And so, Karen Beckley, tell
Yeah.
us about your kids.
Can't you just hear the relief in her voice? I think a
Oh,
lot of moms can
yeah.
relate to that when you get great
Yes,
news like that. So,
absolutely.
similar to Mackenzie, since being introduced to Shackley, my kids really only visit the pediatrician for wellness visits. And I think up until that point, I thought it was common to go in with sick children all the time. So recently, my daughter at the age of 9 started to show what is called molluscum contagiosum, say that 10 times fast.
Mhm.
She is a competitive swimmer on a swim team. And after consulting with her pediatrician, we found out that it's actually quite common with children, especially under the age of 16. And from damp, moist towels, it's a viral skin infection. So
Oh.
when I told her that my daughter was a swimmer, it didn't even, phase her at all that she would be struggling with this. So
Mm.
last July, it started with very tiny bumps on the inside of her elbow and then progressed to what you can see here, that picture in the top left. We were very concerned. And when it started to spread to her face, that's when we really got worried because
Mm.
as a 9-year-old girl, I think, we just didn't want her to feel self conscious about it, but we didn't want to freak out either. We didn't want her to be panicking or worried or thinking about it too much. And so the pediatrician basically explained to us that all of the solutions were pretty extreme. They were primarily topical creams. We could see a dermatologist where they would try to burn them off and even remove them surgically. But really, what she said was just wait it out. It will go away eventually. And so that did give me peace of mind to know that. But she did mention that it could take a year or more. And that
Ugh.
part didn't sit okay with me. So I
Mm.
thought, you know what? It's not going to hurt to really amp up a natural arsenal here for her to get this moving. So her normal regimen that she was already taking, because again, we are a Shackley family, was the Incredivites, the Optiflora Pearl, the D3, and the Mighty Smarts that Dr. Bruno was talking about. But I also introduced I actually switched her multivitamin from the Incredivites to the Vital E. Now, at the age of 9, she could swallow that easily. I switched the Pearl to the Optiflora DI, which is another probiotic that we have that just has more strains. And then continued with the D3, introduced the chewable C, which my children love as well, alfalfa, the Nutriferon that Mackenzie was talking about, and then our newer product, the Super Immunity Gummies. So again, bumps started to show in July. These pictures were taken in early December. And then the after pictures were taken about 3 weeks later, but 3 to 4 weeks later in January. And so you can see the inside of her elbow. Those actually aren't bumps. That's just pigmentation from the bumps healing. So they're doing exactly what they're supposed to
Oh,
be
it's
doing. But I took these
great.
photos last night. Her face is
Mm.
completely clear. Those are just,
Oh.
moles on her face.
Mm.
And so it's just given us such peace of mind to
Oh,
know that we
hallelujah.
have,
Mm.
control over some of this
Mm.
and options, and to know that there were no side effects with this option, to know that it was helping with her self confidence. And clearly, rather than healing topically, we healed from within, which is,
Nice.
Mm.
something that I
Nice. Really
definitely,
important.
yes,
Mm.
believe in and have seen. So our youngest, Silas, I'm going to share his story too. I was joking, we're going to air all our dirty laundry here. My son, who's now 7, when he was 18 months, this was before we knew about Shackley. I was very intentional with what my children ate. I have a dairy sensitivity, so I really didn't introduce dairy into their diet at all. But Silas struggled with severe nasal congestion, chronic, really. And what really concerned us was at the age of 18 months, when language should be developing, he was talking, but his verbal skills were very much like stifled, almost as if he had lost hearing, talking like this, right? And
Mm.
so as a teacher, I knew to really be on top of this, brought him into the pediatrician to get him checked out. And we did some hearing tests and found that he had 98% blockage hearing loss in his right ear. And his left ear had some as well, but the right was significant. And so we realized that that was linked to his language development. The doctor at the time prescribed a nasal spray. So we used that religiously, I believe, for about 3 weeks. And honestly, within 24 hours, I won't go into full detail, but a lot of it came out right through his
Mm.
nose, which we were thrilled to see. And with that, he just started talking. And again, because of the delay, he wasn't really verbal, but you could tell that and he is a talker to this day, but you could tell he had something to say. So it was such a relief. But what really struck me there again was that I was told this was probably going to be very common for him, that he would just be a child, that would struggle with congestion, allergies, ear infections, all of those kinds of things. And so when I was introduced to Shackley, probably about a year later, I started him on a Shaklee Kids regimen. And so that included what we've already mentioned, Incredivites, the Optiflora Pearl Probiotic, the alfalfa, the chewable vitamin C, and the Mighty Smart Chews. And I will tell you, as I've mentioned, the only time this kid goes to the doctor is for his wellness visits.
Hmm.
We did have to do speech therapy, and he is still in speech to this day, but he has made such incredible strides. And I'm just grateful not only for amazing pediatricians like my children's pediatrician and Dr. Bruno, who are intervening at the most crucial times, but also for, again, a regimen to have on hand to be able to make sure that my kids are healthy and strong.
That's
Beautiful.
wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you. So, when you hear these stories, I mean, for Barbara and I, in our 40 years with Shackley, we still are overwhelmed when we hear the miracle of these products. And I thought when we first interviewed Dr. Nicole, she's going to share with you now a little bit about her thoughts about the immune system and why some of the Shackley products work so well because of this understanding that she's going to give you about the immune system. So if you would unmute yourself, we'd love to hear more from you. Weren't those stories amazing?
They were amazing, and I do see this constantly. Southwest Florida, everyone's in a pool constantly. Molluscum is everywhere. The
Oh.
additional thing I'll say too, just in case anyone else has it, is I use apple cider vinegar on a topical, so a natural topical irritant. That'll help just a little bit in speeding up the process as well from the
Good
outside.
to
But
know.
thank you
Nice
for
to
the insight
know.
on the inside. Things that work. We have to put some studies together, I think. So the immune system, our army of defense. What are we talking about here? So it's to me it makes sense to explain it like this, and I think it simplifies things. But we have an army. We built an army based on our exposures and our vaccines in our body to defend us against whenever we would see something we already have an army against, right? So that's our line, that's our army of our antibodies. Everyone has heard about antibodies now. We're all COVID aware of antibodies. But the missing piece here is we need to feed our army. Our army is not strong without good weapons, and that is where our diet and our lifestyle really come into play to keep our army strong. So we have to feed it with natural antioxidants from our food and supplements. If you're not getting it, natural antioxidants are found in fruits and vegetables. Vitamin C in our fruits is amazing, especially the dark. The darker the fruit, the more antioxidants in that. So blueberries, blackberries, feed that to the children. And vegetables are literally grown to be our perfect food. They have so much in there for us that we need to work on getting our kids to love. But at 2 years old, these become little children with a lot of opinions, and they decide they don't want to touch those vegetables anymore. And there's not much we can do about that other than continuing to put it on their plate, making this is a normal thing. We all have carrots, we all have broccoli, and you're going to have to look at it, and you're going to have to put it in your mouth every now and then until you're willing to try it again. But this literally builds their immune system, and if they won't eat it, we have to support it with vitamins. We have to get it in another way. And some kids will refuse the chewables. They totally will. They're like, I can't get my kid to even take a vitamin. All right, well, will we drink a smoothie? Do they like fruit? Fine. We have fruit, veggies in a smoothie, and we have additives that we can add for that. So what are these weapons, though, that I'm talking about? What are the most important ones? The vitamin C is the safest and most effective for overall health. You need vitamin C. It's a powerful antioxidant. It is a machine gun for the army, okay? But it is not stored. You have several rounds of fruits today, but you need more of them tomorrow. You have to do it every single day to keep that army loaded with bullets, pretty much. We need it for growth. Children need it to repair body tissues. We need it for bone and teeth health. It aids in absorption of iron. So if your child is iron deficient, you need vitamin C to help the iron be absorbed. And for us people who've had our kids, we're getting a little older now, or just all of us, we could use a little extra collagen love in our life and decrease those wrinkles. D3, we know D3 is so important. Someone had asked, one of the questions was, how young can we start vitamins in kids? You can start them at birth. Vitamin D is a supplement we recommend for all babies. But we need 30 minutes of sunshine a day, and babies obviously don't get that. but it aids calcium absorption. So again, we need for our bones, which is why they usually supplemented together, for cell growth, for immune function. We need it to talk to the immune cells and make everything work well. Plenty of food sources, the fish, the mushrooms, orange juice, and milk. It's hard to get kids to eat fish and mushrooms, okay? Your only choices are orange juice, milk, and vitamin C chewable. Sorry, vitamin D, multivitamin, not, yeah. And then when we're overweight, this is something to, fat cells store the vitamin D. So if we have more fat cells, we naturally have a lower vitamin D level. We still have to fix that so that we have the vitamin D available to use. But when we lose weight, our normal D is that we have a better quantity available. So you'll naturally see an increase in D without supplementing once you lose some weight. So that's just something helpful and motivating because it's so important to us. And then zinc. Zinc, we need it as well. It's another Army tool, and it aids in DNA synthesis and immune communications and inflammation. So all these three are so very important, and we have several products to help the individuals, and then we have the combined. So for the kids, again, the Incredivites it's your multivitamin. In addition, it also has the lactoferrin, and which is in breast milk, but it is a natural antibody that is in your breast milk. Again, we are supplying that by naturally breastfeeding the baby if we can, with antibodies, with what am I trying to say? So it aids the immune system.
Mhm.
So this is a tool in the vitamin that you are also giving at birth. Again, you're supporting that gut health right away. And then antioxidants help eliminate toxins. So it identifies foreign agents and removes them. And then as far as quantity, 600 international units of D3 is what's recommended for the strong bones and teeth. And then the immunity gummies are fantastic. They're tooth friendly. That's the other super helpful thing. People tend to shy away from gummies because of cavities, but it's been proven to be tooth friendly the way they formulated this product. So my dentist friends will be happy. And there's no corn syrup. It's real, and the kids like it. My kids, again, like your child, that comes when you shake the vitamin. Mine are like, where's the immunity? Shaking the vitamins at me, handing me my immunity gummies.
Ah, that's
Good.
So
great. And that chewable, by the way, the chewable C is
we'll see.
delicious
It is
also.
yummy.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say they're
Um,
kid approved, but
ooh,
I think
I
they're also
love
adult
that.
approved because
Our adult approved.
I've tried them all. Yes. And
And
I will
Karen,
say,
yeah, tell us about healthy breakfast,
yeah,
please.
I was just going to add a tip too with the Incredivites because my children didn't start on those. Again, we were introduced to Shackley later. They were using the gummies that she's referring to with corn syrup. They were organic though, so I figured they were fine, right? And so it was a difference. They're really delicious, the Incredivites are, but it was a difference because they weren't as sweet. So as a mom, don't be afraid to incentivize your kids to take their vitamins. We had a chart where they could work their way up and go buy something in the dollar aisle at Target for taking their vitamins each day because it was more important to me that they formed this discipline and this habit
Good.
than rejecting them. And I get that from moms all the time, like they don't like them, and tough. They need to do something to get them to take them. So but they are delicious, so that's awesome. So breakfast, on that same vein, we want to make sure, again, we've already mentioned childhood obesity and nutrition and getting the vitamins that our kids need each morning, and picky eaters. All of that was mentioned by Dr. Bruno. And the Life Shake has been that solution for our family. So thankfully, Shackley has a number of different protein options. So you can find the one that fits best for your family. But our newly formulated Life Shakes, I kid you not, taste like milkshakes. They
Mm,
are
mm,
delicious.
mm.
And your children are getting such a wonderful source of clean, organic, beyond organic plant protein. And so what I'll do is I'll mix in different things, really sell it as a milkshake to my children, to the point really now where they have no clue what is in there in a good way. And no one's going to share this recording with them, but I mean, we're hiding things like spinach and riced cauliflower and omegas. And I mean, whatever we can hide in there, we are getting it in that smoothie, and they are none the wiser. So it's a wonderful way to sneak those veggies into your child's daily diet.
Nice.
And then also
Mhm.
healthy snacks. There's a great recipe for a fun snack that I like to make for my kids. Sometimes, you can roll them up into balls and they look like little cookie dough bites. but getting that protein in a different way as opposed to them grabbing for, you know, fruit snacks or crackers or pretzels or chips. We want to fill their bellies with protein that's going to last, which also helps stabilize mood and stabilize blood sugar.
Amen. You
So the more
mothers,
creative the mother, right,
they're born
Barb?
sneaks,
You
Jeannie.
got
I
it.
tell you, they
Don't
are.
tell
So, and
anyone.
then Shackley came out with this. You've got to share this because this was
Okay.
the big hidden
Well,
ingredient.
the thing that we have learned in recent years is the connection between a healthy gut and the immune system. 80%, as a matter of fact, of the immune system is located in the gut and in this microbiome that influences our health as much as genetics. So, what Dr. Nicole said, we just want our kids to just be drenched in fresh vegetables and fresh fruits every day. That's where it starts. That's the number one food that feeds that microbiome. However, as she also mentioned, sometimes that's a little tricky with kids. So these mothers have learned to be born sneaks, as Karen just pointed out. So Shackley helps them along with this product called Organic Greens Booster. It's a powder. It's easy to tuck into everything from the shakes to the spaghetti sauce. It's excellent. Um, but the most important of all, I think, is the probiotics that all the moms have mentioned because the probiotics begin the process of re-inoculating that gut. If your children have ever been put on antibiotics, on any steroid-based medications, if they've ever had diarrhea or other kinds of medications that can just wipe that stuff out and really damage the gut. And surprising, there is a very high percentage of adults and children who deal with depression, anxiety, and you may have heard of I'm blocking serotonin. Thank you. I'm just blocking on them for suddenly of serotonin, which is what helps us feel happy and productive and content and so forth. 90% of it is produced in the microbiome in the gut. So, the triple encapsulation, these are really good probiotic products. So, to review, um, the collection for the little ones who can't swallow yet, we've got the Incredivites multivitamin. We've got these new super immunity gummy wonderful things. We've got the probiotic pearl, the chewable C, and all kinds of protein bars and shakes, and then a few of the extras that we just mentioned. And then in addition, we have a collection for the older kids, the ones who can swallow. That's always more economical for the parents because Shackley will only use natural flavorings and they're always a little pricier. But the multivitamin, these are very economical products, B complex, especially great for their skin too and their dispositions. It turns every woman into Mother Teresa, by the way. So that means it's good for the mothers. Vitamin C, Nutriferon, more probiotics. So here they are. So Jeannie, let's talk about next steps.
Sure. Well, first of all, I don't know about anybody else, but I thoroughly really enjoyed this topic because I came into Shackley because my children were chronically sick and chronically at the pediatricians and were constantly getting antibiotics for their ear infections. And as Karen said, it is such a relief when you find something that's going to work. And so I hope that what we shared with you tonight will, if you're already using Shackley, well, you're probably walking off and feeling great. But something, hearing from Dr. Nicole, the background, the understanding that she has, I think it gives us all confidence that we're doing the right thing.
Mm,
And as parents, we need that. And especially during COVID, we sort of lost our confidence. Do we know what we're doing, And so you brought us a level of confidence, Dr. Bruno. That's what you did. And we also feel that, your understanding of Shackley and I might say your endorsement, not just with promoting it, but using it in your own family, putting it in your own body and in your children's body, that to
mm,
us is just, we're grateful for that. And I think you've made some moms feel very, very good. So if what you heard tonight sounds like something you want to start your children on, then what we'd like to suggest to you is with a minimum order of $150, you would receive, first of all, a free membership to all of these products at 15% off. You would also get free shipping. And if you speak to the person who invited you tonight, there's a very special offer if you do purchase that $150 order. And I can just give you a little hint, but it will really build your immune system. And it's one of our favorite products. So we really encourage you to speak to the person who invited you, ask the questions, but consider trying this because we have a bunch of questions, Dr. Bruno, but one of the questions that we've been getting is that, if children are going to get a COVID vaccine, do we still have to safeguard them? In your opinion, does everything go away once they have a vaccine or once we have a vaccine? What are your thoughts about that?
No. So all of these stories we heard tonight were definitely before COVID, and they were things we can prevent, allergies, skin, the molluscum. But viruses are here, and your immune system needs support every day. As I said, vitamin C is today. We need to refill it tomorrow. So, COVID is not going away shortly. So we may get it under control better, but it will not be at zero for years probably. That is that, but that just means we learned how to wash our hands again. I'm very proud of us all, but we learned how to wash our hands. And we pay attention when we touch something, we pay attention when we sneeze and touch something. Like we've been lax. I've never been lax. I've always seen the germs, and now everyone else has joined me on this vision, which is it's a disturbing place to live. But the germs are around us. They are not going away. I hope we get COVID under control so we can all get back to our normal lives soon, very soon. And I'm hoping with the vaccine, if we can get it rolled out for the children, I think the goal is to have that done by the summer before school starts. So that's what I'm hearing. I'm on no magic committee that tells us that. I am in touch with the Department of Health in a weekly meeting that I met with today and the school board, and things are looking good. Our numbers on kids are really lower than they've been. We've been reporting about 10% positive rates for COVID in kids, and also 10% of the flu in all the kids we've tested I have 3 offices. There's actually 12 doctors with 5 partners. So that's
Ah,
the story. Yeah,
Wow.
got a lot of people that are in my group. But the Department of Health we're seeing 3 to 5% right now. So our numbers are coming down, which makes me hopeful. And that's the month. That's the month. It's not this week. And I was like, hey, is everyone else seeing this? Am I doing something wrong? Am I not testing enough people? I don't want to catch 10%, but am I missing 7%? Where'd they go? And they're also seeing a decline in the kids. So I'm so thankful.
that's great.
But yeah, it remains a concern, and it's not going away tomorrow. So yes, please.
Thank you. And I think all the other questions that were sent in, you pretty much answered how much sleep children need. I think you answered that 8 to 10 hours, you believe right now. How young are children how young do they have to be to take the children immune boosting supplements? I don't know, Barb, do you want to weigh in on that? How young can they take these immune boosting supplements?
Well, there's they've not been tested on children, so they can't recommend them for children, but there's all of the ingredients in them are completely safe, and it sure is a whole lot safer than taking many of the medications that have side effects. Medications are not natural to the body, and so the liver and the kidney are the filtering organs for the body and for those medications. So I always try, if I can get something natural to work first, that's always my first choice. But I'm grateful to have the medications there, like Karen needed when you need them. It's great to have them. But absolutely, I would never hesitate to give the kids these new products, especially that triple defense boost and the Nutriferon, if they needed it.
Right.
And
And
can I
then
add?
just, yes,
Sorry, I
please,
just want to add
doctor.
one
No,
thing
of
on
course.
that line with kids and sick and vitamins and supporting them naturally. I I'm both ends of this, right? I learned medication, and I'm learning more about nutrition every day, and there's a place for both of them.
There's a
But
place for both.
when your child has prolonged fever, so fever is more than 3 days, you need to see your doctor Do not manage that with vitamins alone, please. So that's my one statement. There, we need to see you, especially with COVID, especially if you had COVID already. Oh, I can't get it. There's a post-COVID inflammatory process that is very dangerous. So it was always a concern if your child is febrile for more than 3 days, more than 100.4, see your doctor. So that's just my, you need to
Oh,
say
I
that.
appreciate that. No,
absolutely.
we appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I think the question was, can they use the vitamins
Mhm.
to
Right.
help the body fight that? And the answer is sure. You know,
Yes.
Yeah.
in
Support
most
that immune
cases,
system. Hmm.
And then
yes.
just the last question. I know you addressed this, Barb, but a lot of children have eczema, and some of them have it since birth. And this particular parent has different kinds of medicine that she's using right now. Is there anything from the Shackley line that she can use for the eczema?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, interesting. We have had quite a quite good success with that. But you know, to Nicole's point, vitamins are not used to treat things, right? They're not
Right.
used to cure things. What they do is they strengthen the body's immune systems, and it's fascinating. It is fascinating what the body has built into it if we just gave it the tools that it needs. So um, think about the kinds of foods that so it's an inflammatory condition, right? Eczema is, think about the foods that increase inflammation. It's animal based stuff, dairy, beef, meat, that kind of stuff, sugar, wheat and gluten, all that stuff increases inflammation. What decreases it is that thing we eat the least, are vegetables. And the omega 3 fatty acids, the mighty smarts, that DHA, those are all, they're naturally anti-inflammatory. Vitamin C naturally reduces inflammation. So you just assist the body as much as you can naturally, and use medications when you need to.
Very good. And anything you want to add to that, Dr. Nicole, for
I would love,
eczema?
yeah, I'd love to. Eczema allergies go together, and finding and preventing. So pretty much I've established, if I have a 4-month old starting with eczema, this child has a milk protein allergy until proven otherwise. And I can't prove it till a year old. The allergy tests are not accurate until their kids are a year old. But that is milk protein allergy. I'm going to try soy. Soy can also be a milk protein. It can also be an allergy. So I will remove them from their milk. And I will remove mom from her milk. Mom cannot have milk if she's breastfeeding. So, and there's still lactose in breast milk, but there's less. And usually the baby can tolerate that. So there's usually a food allergy. There is an allergy that usually triggers it. And I will search to find it. And I usually do. I'm surprised when I have a bad eczema child that is not allergic to something. And then repairing, of course. But I just wanted to add, our diet is usually the cause, but it can also prevent problems. So you have to look at what you eat every day. And all babies do under a year is drink milk. And magically eczema gets better sometimes as they're drinking less milk. So, it has shown us, just not everyone looks.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, that is really our last question. And I think, I don't know about you, but I feel that today was just, or tonight was just wonderful. And I think the message that I got from Dr. Nicole was that good nutrition is the key. It
Yeah.
really is. Good nutrition is the key. And then when there are gaps, we supplement because we know that I have picky grandchildren. I had a picky child. I was never picky about food. I couldn't get enough in my mouth, so I don't relate to that at all. But but I really do. I will just say a plug right here. I want to first of all thank our young moms for speaking. They were just wonderful. Barbara, it was a delight to work with you on this, as usual. You're always a joy to work with. But I have to say, welcome to our Shackley family, Dr. Bruno. It is just an honor to have you. And I'm sure Barbara and I are thinking, can we ever have you back, because I'm sure there's many topics we would love to discuss. So thank you for all your good work. Thank you for taking care of our little petri dishes, and thank you for just being a mom, a wife, but also someone who's thinking out of the box and looking for other solutions that can help our children today. Barb, any final thoughts?
No, just wishing you all good health as we're coming into the spring cold and flu season. Um, this is going to arm you with some things you can do with your kids that hopefully are going to make a big difference for you.
Thank you. And Dr. Nicole, any final words from you to all the moms out there?
Thank you so much for listening. I hope it helped. If you have any
Yes.
questions, I'm happy to answer them. And on the one key with the petri dishes and the stomach bugs, if you're not already on a probiotic, you need to do that now, right now, because the stomach bugs are coming, and you don't want to tell me next week that you
Well,
that you're
it's so
recovering from
it's
that.
so cute that you say that, because whenever my grandchildren have an upset stomach, and it's usually from eating the wrong things, they just always go, "Where's the little pearl, Nana? Where's the little pearl?" And they can always put it right in their mouth. So thank God for that little pearl, and thank God for Shackley. Thank you everyone for being on tonight, and have a great week. And let's hope that spring will bring us a better spring than it did last year. Good night.